Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing a deep, unapologetic love letter to firearms built for one thing: absolute reliability. You can dress a gun up in 1,000 accessories, but at the end of the day, the only thing that matters when the pressure's on is whether it fires. So we're going beyond the headlines and the spec sheets. I'll walk you through 6 firearms that consistently run when others don't, why they do it, what real users have to say, and how to get the most out of each while keeping them working like champs. This is a long one. We're going to unpack design choices, testing anecdotes, field tips, and common myths. If you like in-depth breakdowns and real-world perspective, hit that like button and subscribe. And if you own one of these, tell your story in the comments. All right, let's get into it. Why reliability matters and what reliable really means. Before we hit the roll call, let's set the baseline. Reliability isn't a marketing word. It's measurable. We mean a firearm that will fire the ammunition you feed it under a range of realistic abuses: dirt, water, suboptimal lubrication, weak or hot ammo, user error, and long deployment cycles. It's not about being pretty, light, or having an Instagram duet-friendly finish. It's about parts that are overbuilt rather than under-engineered, tolerances that accept grime, and systems that fail gracefully instead of catastrophically. There are 2 paths to reliability. One is simplicity. Fewer moving parts equals fewer failure modes. The other is robust engineering. Steel where steel matters, coatings where corrosion is real, and design choices that trade a little precision for a lot of dependability. Every gun on today's list uses one or both of those approaches. Now, the lineup. Glock 17, the ubiquitous workhorse. Let's start with the obvious. The Glock 17. If you've spent any time around law enforcement, military videos, or the range community in the last 40 years, you've seen one. But the reason it's ubiquitous isn't hype. It's engineering choices that emphasize consistent function above all else. Design fundamentals: striker-fired simplicity, polymer frame, and conservative part count, roughly 3 dozen internal components. That compact part list is deliberate. Less to break, less to misadjust. The polymer frame saves weight and flexes just enough to tame recoil, while the cold hammer forged slide and barrel give the needed hardness and durability. Real-world torture tests have become legend. Mud baths, saltwater submersions, 20,000-round no-lube runs. And more often than not, the Glock still cycles. That's not an endorsement to neglect maintenance, but it does show how forgiving the design is. One often repeated tale is a Gen 3 used as a training gun for years in a dusty barn. When it was finally torn down, the slide was packed with grime. Yet it still shot. That kind of anecdote is repeated enough to be meaningful. Practical tips: if you want your Glock to stay reliable, follow basic care. Replace recoil springs when recommended if you run high round counts. Use magazines in good condition. And don't run grossly underpowered ammo as a habit. Glock tolerates garbage ammo more than most, but feeding anything significantly out of spec is an invitation for odd problems. Who it's for: entry-level buyers, duty users, people who want a dependable service pistol that won't guilt-trip you for being human. Pros: simple to operate and maintain, huge aftermarket, easy to train with. Cons: ergonomics are subjective, and the factory trigger isn't for everyone. But that's a quality problem, not a reliability one. Ruger GP100. Revolver reliability turned up to 11. If you grew up on revolvers or appreciate the idea of a mechanical device that's literally hard to break, the Ruger GP100 is an absolute icon. Revolvers are the simplest repeating mechanism you can buy, and the GP100 demonstrates how a manufacturer can take that simplicity and make it survivable in the harshest hands. Mechanics and durability. It uses a triple lockup system: front, rear, and bottom for the cylinder. That keeps timing perfect even under the hottest loads. The frame design eliminates a side plate that many other revolvers use, which reduces potential flex or deformation over decades of recoil. Cylinder walls are thick. Chambers are cut a touch deeper than the rim to reinforce the head. The barrel shank is deeply threaded into the frame. The GP100 is a "don't worry about it" gun, a phrase you hear a lot from owners who have abused them and walked away intact. Field wisdom: Revolvers don't feed from magazines, so magazine-related malfunctions vanish. But you still have to respect forcing cone wear, timing, and proper lubrication on internal springs. The GP100's use of coil springs instead of leaf springs also helps it tolerate dirt. Coil springs compress grit in ways that make it less likely the mechanism will bind. Who it's for? People who want ultimate simplicity and durability. Ranch hands, survivalists, and anyone uncomfortable with the potential complexity of semi-autos. Pros: brutally reliable with a huge margin of safety. Can handle hot hand loads. Easy to troubleshoot. Cons: lower capacity, heavier trigger at times, double action, and not the fastest for reloads compared to modern pistols. Romanian WSR10 AKM variant, purposefully tolerant military design. When the task is keep firing in the worst conditions imaginable, the AK family's reputation isn't accidental. The Romanian WSR10 is a modern commercial entry in that bloodline, an AKM pattern rifle that inherits the design decisions that made the original such a force multiplier. Why it runs: generous clearances inside the receiver and around the bolt carrier mean sand and crud don't wedge components together. They move and fall away. It's slightly overgassed, intentionally so, which means the bolt is slammed back hard enough that even underpowered or dirty ammo still extracts in cycles. That overgassing also helps blow carbon out of the system rather than letting it build up in place. Chrome-lined bores and chambers resist corrosion and hold up to corrosive surplus primers and field cleaning with poor supplies. Real-life use: you'll see AK mags used as hammers, pried in, dropped in mud, and then reinserted. And often, they keep feeding. Field stripping is ridiculously quick. The dust cover, recoil spring, bolt carrier, and gas tube come off fast, so maintenance in austere environments is straightforward. Who it's for: people who need a rifle that can be trusted in primitive conditions. Hunters in remote places, preppers, and those who want a sling-it-and-forget-it rifle. Pros: simple to maintain, reliable with a wide range of ammo, rugged magazines. Cons: not match-grade accurate by modern precision standards. Heavier recoil and less ergonomic controls compared to some modern rifles. Heckler & Koch VP9. Ergonomics plus engineering equals practical reliability. HK's approach is a bit different. They build refined, modern pistols that still meet military and police expectations for durability. The VP9 is a great example. It's not the cheapest gun on the list, but it's built with reliability in mind and designed so the user can shoot it well under stress. Design highlights: the VP9 offers an exceptional fit and finish combined with modular ergonomics. Interchangeable backstraps and side panels let you tune the grip to your hand. That's not just comfort theater. A consistent, repeatable grip reduces flinch and limp wrist problems that can cause malfunctions. HK uses robust slide and barrel manufacturing processes, cold hammer forging, premium finishes, which extend longevity. Lessons from the field: HK identified early anomalies in certain wet test scenarios and iterated the design. For example, strengthening the trigger bar springs and adjusting striker geometry fixed a short-stroking problem in earlier runs. The modern VP9 benefits from that iterative improvement cycle. Newer pistols are solid. The addition of a drainage notch near the striker channel shows their attention to real environmental challenges like freezing or water ingress. Who it's for? Shooters who want a high-performance duty pistol with user-centric ergonomics. Pros: excellent trigger feel out of the box, outstanding ergonomics, duty-grade reliability. Cons: slightly higher price. Aftermarket parts are growing, but not as ubiquitous as some competitors. Sig Sauer P226 MK25. Maritime tough, battle-proven pedigree. If you want a pistol with military credibility, you don't get much stronger than the P226 MK25. Developed and iterated through real military service, including with naval special warfare, it's a pistol that's been tested in some of the worst environments on Earth. Construction and corrosion resistance. The MK25 uses nitron-coated slides and phosphate-treated internals. Mag springs and other components are treated to resist galvanic corrosion. Those coatings matter when you're dealing with salt spray, humidity, and long stints without ideal maintenance. The P226's locking system spreads forces across solid surfaces, so wear is managed and the mechanism keeps consistent timing. Durability anecdotes. Armorers report pistols in demanding units that have survived extraordinary round counts, some outliving even optimistic expectations when properly maintained. The P226 tolerates a surprising variety of ammunition reliably, from suppressed subsonic loads to full-power service rounds, often without the need for spring swaps that many modern skeletonized designs require. Who it's for? Professionals and enthusiasts who want a battle-hardened full-sized pistol with diplomatic pedigree. Pros: proven in combat, excellent ergonomics for many shooters, durable finishes. Cons: heavier carry weight, and DA/SA learning curve for new shooters not used to transition between long double-action pulls and lighter single-action breaks. CZSP-01, the sleeper that became a legend. Finally, we land on the CZSP-01, my pick for the don't bet against this one crown. It's a full-size, all-steel pistol loved by competition shooters and duty users alike for the balance of accuracy, recoil control, and long-term resilience. What sets it apart? Internal slide rails mean the slide rides inside the frame, distributing forces across a larger surface area and minimizing point wear. The cold hammer-forged barrel is a longevity play, and the all-steel construction soaks up recoil, giving you predictable follow-ups. Coupled with a robust magazine design and thoughtfully chosen tolerances, the SP-01 behaves like a gun that has been designed to run for decades with routine maintenance. Real durability. Long-term tests and community reports show SP-01s reaching extremely high round counts. For example, documented cases of approximately 50,000 rounds consumed with only minor replaceable parts needing attention: slide stop, firing pin retainer. Those are components easy to keep spares of. Everything core, frame, barrel, rails, remain serviceable and tight. User tips. The SP-01 loves good magazines. Using quality steel mags preserves feed angles and overall function. If you compete, a staged trigger kit can smooth out action without sacrificing ignition reliability. But even out of the box, it's forgiving of dirt and inconsistent lubrication. Who it's for? Dedicated range rats, competition shooters who also value tough reliability, and users who don't mind a heavier pistol in exchange for control and longevity. Pros: extremely durable, precise for a duty pistol, excellent recoil management. Cons: heavier carry, a little bulkier than polymer alternatives. Practical takeaways. How to keep any gun running reliably. No gun is truly maintenance-free, but you can significantly extend dependable operation with a few straightforward habits. Use good magazines. Many malfunctions trace back to worn or damaged followers and feed lips. Replace or rotate mags if you keep round counts high. Periodically check springs. Recoil and striker springs have life cycles. Replace on schedule if you run thousands of rounds. Clean sensibly. All these guns tolerate grime more than many others, but cleaning prevents corrosive residue buildup and keeps tolerances healthy. You don't need to dismantle an entire gun every outing, but a routine glance and lubrication is inexpensive insurance. Match ammo to roll. A training load is fine for practice, but understand what your duty loadout needs are. Some guns tolerate a broader ammo range than others. Train with the gun. User error is a leading cause of malfunctions. Practice reloads, draws, and malfunction drills so you don't panic when something goes wrong. Often the gun is fine. The operator's response is what matters. Reliability is the quiet hero of firearm performance. These 6 guns, the Glock 17, Ruger GP100, Romanian WSR10, HK VP9, Sig P226 MK25, and CZSP-01, each approach the same problem with slightly different philosophies, and each solves it admirably. Some choose ruthless simplicity, others overbuilt steel, and some blend ergonomics with engineering. The through line is the same. Designed for the real world, not the range only. Which of these is your go-to? Did I miss a gun that you trust with your life? Drop a comment with your experience. I read them all, and the best stories might end up in a future video. If you want a companion piece, I can put together a side-by-side comparison showing weight, cost, and best use cases, or a what to buy for X budget guide. If you found this useful, consider smashing the like button, subscribing for weekly deep dives, and sharing with someone who appreciates gear that works when it counts. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep your mags loaded, your bores clean, and your fundamentals tight. See you next time.